Welcome to the Blessed to Teach show. This is Rick, your host. Here we are on a Sunday, May 19th. It's been a while since I've been live. We're talking about Barr dropping the hammer. 2 B2T codes we're going to go over, catching up here. As you know, many people do B2T codes, but I give you my opinion along the way. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because you guys, I've got a lot of feedback. You guys enjoy that. Also going to be going over a Bible study on John 4, the first part of chapter 5. So that book is powerful. The Gospel of Love, John 4 and 5. So stay for that. I see a bunch of people coming on now, and Jeremy and Terry and Paul and Montana. Thank you guys for being here. We got people Sheila from Alabama, Ice Cream Machine from Chicago. We've got Tara from Ohio, Kamalki from Kansas City. Thank you guys. Newburgh, India in the house with Steve, and Central Texas, Indiana, Newburgh, Indiana, obviously. David from New Zealand's on. Thank you for being here. It's been a while since I've been on live. I've been in a conference. Just to let you guys know, I've been working for 8 months on developing a cultural impact system. A system, if you're frustrated with the culture, I'm going to help you guys come and make big impact in that culture. I call one is going to be Impact Culture Now, or Frustrated with Culture, and we're going to be attacking that big time. I see some people from Boise and Missouri and Iowa. So let's get rolling here. Again, dropping the hammer, Barr, as well as several B2T codes, and my opinion on them as we go along the way. Let's dig in, and we see where, if we go all the way back to the Q drops, you'll see the latest one is still this Comey. He's just letting Comey sweat, just showing the last drop was still the same old Moab coming right down on Comey. He's contemplating thing in the middle of the road is one of his things. Boom time Baker. So we're still there. So nothing since May 12th, which was great for me because I was at the conference, as you know. And again, I'm going to be rolling out quite a bit of a full system, a community of really people that are frustrated with the culture and want to make cultural impact in all 7 mountains that I've been talking to you guys about. So that's going to be quite exciting. I'll be rolling that out next month and giving you guys more detail as we go. The sponsor of this episode is the Rugged Flashlight. Go to patriotflashlights.com. This is my favorite device. I've told you guys about this quite a bit. I mean, this thing has solar power. This is the greatest part about this. I got a text from somebody not understanding. This is not designed to charge up your cell phone on a regular basis unless you're trying to reduce your energy costs. It's really for emergencies. Just think if your outlets in your house don't work, then the solar power here can work to actually charge up your cell phone with the USB charger. It's the most ingenious device I've ever seen because it does like 10 things. Not only is it solar powered out of indirect light, I love this thing, it also has a very powerful light, a new siren in the 2019 version. It's got a compass in it. This is also a strobe light. And this can be, the light here is this powerful light that can be seen like 2.5 miles. And it's got a glass breaker here, a rope or seatbelt cutter, great for your car in case you ever did go in the water, to be able to cut your seatbelt with this puppy and then break the glass out. Very, very good safety device. Again, it's an incredibly well done device. The other side of this also has a magnet right here. You'll see a powerful magnet as well. So again, a military grade device, I believe, guys. And you guys, you can get this and you can come here and you can see to get 50% off of this puppy. It is more, I think it's a $149 flashlight, right? But if you actually go get one of these, you can, and buy multiple of them, and apply my code, it becomes beautiful because you get a 30% off. You just do the blessed, 20% off the blessed 20 code. So make sure you come up here and hit order summary, hit blessed 20, and you will get another 20% off. And you'll get 3 flashlights for well below the price of 1, right? Again, patriotflashlight.com. Let's move into this. This is an B2T code. I'm going to dig into this. Now, a lot of you have already seen this done professionally by other people, and that's fine, but I still have people wanting me to do this to get my opinions into these, so we'll dig into this. This is SB2, Serial Brain 2, saying, the secret, and by the way, I apologize, I do not have my microphone on the trip, but so I just turned it way up using the MacBook's microphone, and I don't have the proper lighting, don't have my studio, and the reason I don't have all that is because my flight got canceled twice last night. 2 flights got canceled with all the weather in Dallas, so I was not able to get in. So I am decided I'd go ahead and do one more video for you guys while I was on this trip. I did one at the very first day on, I think, Wednesday night, and do one here on Sunday. I get home later tonight, hopefully. We'll see what happens. But anyway, here it is. The secret reason why Nadler wants Barr to break the law. Continuing this article, we are solving the May 9th, 19 riddle. And this article I think he's talking about is, we'll just go to it. So when we look at this is the whole thing we went over last time, the Mueller, Rosenstein, Comey, the infernal trio. And if you probably remember when I went through that with you, it was probably a week and a half ago or so. If I go back to the bottom of that, and you'll see Mueller knows that he's going to have to pay either way to keep the deep state won't let him off the hook, and Trump will take him to account for 9/11, Iranian One, Benghazi, and a host of other crimes he's deeply involved in, as are all of the deep state actors who have been in government for decades. Better safe than sorry, says somebody. Yeah, that's a good point as far as not traveling. When they have huge thunderstorms, etc., and they kept on rolling through Dallas. But anyway, so that's the article he was talking about. We are solving the May 9th, 2019 riddle. As usual, we'll first gather all the pieces of the puzzle and assemble them at the end to extract the final decoded messages. POTUS welcomes the Boston Red Sox. At 3:45 p.m., the president hosted the Boston Red Sox for their victory at the World Champion Series. A few hours prior to the event, the White House website misspelled Red Sox, wrote it Red Socks, and later corrected it. Some things never change. They still don't get it. Look at how the fake news, yet again, enjoyed their ignorance. So as they try to make Trump look bad, they're basically just advertising what Trump wants them to advertise, right? Or he's sending us a code. We'll see. White House website welcomes the Boston Red Sox, Socks versus X, right? Trump welcomes Red Sox. He's making fun of them. Notice it's an 18 jersey. We'll talk about that later. Here's Twitter uses hit and run over hit a home run over White House Boston Red Sox gaffe, right? White House welcomes Boston Red Sox ahead of the visit. The White House welcomes the world champion Red Sox, Socks. You can see Red Sox, just making fun of them. There's like 7 articles right there that he pulls out. You know what's going on, right? Kudos to those who connected this with the mysterious Red Sox in 2595. Q, the gingerbread riddle was solved last December. So if you look at this is looking at, I turned it to the wrong one right now. So I'll just have to go click it on it one more time. It'll go to the right one here in a second. So where he's pulling us into, and it's not going to bring us to the wrong place. Hey, that's not right. So we'll just go search for it real quick. I'll show you guys do that. So it's basically 2595, right? So if you just go to qmap.pub and go to this here where you are, go to the search, not the range, right here, the search, and you can type in that number, 2595. That should bring up the posts. 2595. There it is. A little holiday fun for the fake news media. And that's where they had these Q stockings, right? And all that type of stuff where they were trying to figure out the missing letters and all that type of stuff. So you'll see that in just a second as we continue. The gingerbread riddle that was on the elevator, right? In this article and this image, we found the letter for the red stocking was 19, right? And so you remember this where there's inside the elevator and there's all the stockings. He asked us all these things about the letters. He did all this decoding and basically found that, again, the letter for the red stocking was S equals 19. Not convinced this is what Trump was talking about with this White House typo? Then let's listen to the response earlier in the event on the medical surprise billing when he's asked about the diversiveness shenanigans the Red Sox manager agitated on Puerto Rico to justify his absence. And we're not going to be able to listen to all these because they're just too long. But in general, he did some.
like the red stuff.
What do you say to those who argue that you're too divisive, and do you worry it's going to hurt your re-election?
You know, it's interesting, Puerto Rico, just so you understand, we gave Puerto Rico $91 billion for the hurricane. That's the largest amount of money ever given to any state. Talking about states in Puerto Rico.
Just a second, you guys, see if I just remembered you probably don't have sound. Oh, I hate it when I do that. Apologize when I'm on the road here and busy. Sometimes I don't go to my multi-output device, which means I'm going to need to flip back here real quick. So he's basically, this is Trump, which I was trying to play video-wise, and he's about ready to leave. This is why I grabbed my headphones.
The red stuff are coming for a little while. I like the red stuff.
What do you say to those who argue that you're too divisive, and do you worry it's going to hurt your re-election?
You know, it's interesting, Puerto Rico, just so you understand, we gave Puerto Rico $91 billion for the hurricane. That's the largest amount of money ever given to any state. Talking about states in Puerto Rico. A little different. $91 billion. Texas got 30. Florida got 12. Puerto Rico got $91 billion. So I think the people of Puerto Rico should really like President Trump. Now, that money was given by Congress, but they got 90.
I'm going to cut these videos a little shortly, partially because I don't have my headphones. Secondly, because they're very long. Did you solve the Bavarian coffee on for me? Those who got this one. And so here's the image that he's digging into this even in more detail. And it says, from the December gingerbread riddle, and where he was talking about all these different decodings of trying to figure out exactly what, like this 1910, 2 million children under the age of 15 are working for daily wages is what this was talking about, right? The Keene-Owen Labor Act of 1916. You guys probably remember this from when I was going over this before, for those of you who saw my decode of, my working with SB2's decode on this back then. Puerto Rico, Texas, Florida, talking about, and the fact is that Puerto Rico got $91 billion. That's what he's talking about. Why Texas only got $30 billion and Florida got $12 billion, and the Democrats are trying to hold up legislation to give money to Florida, for that huge hurricane that came through, because Puerto Rico needs more money, and they already got $91 billion. So what do you think's going on there? It's right, a bunch of people siphoning funds off the corrupt Puerto Ricans. Some of the Democratic leaders there, right? So he's basically saying the maestro said the number 91 6 times, 30 2 times, 12 2 times, and the number 9. Now let's single out the 91 and add up all the other numbers. What are the odds that they all add up to 61? Which, when juxtaposed, gives us 91, gives you the 91 61 we found in the Red Stockings gingerbread riddle. Of course, you remember the 9161 came from turning the year of the Keene-Owen Labor Act, 1916, upside down. Now let's pause for a second. Do you realize the maestro did this on the fly? Now you need to know he was not kidding when he said what he said in this video. I'm about being a stable genius.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Tomislav Krasnec from Večernji List, Croatian daily newspaper. We understand your message.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you. We understand your message, but some people ask themselves, will you be tweeting differently once you board the Air Force One? Thank you.
No, that's other people that do that. I don't. I'm very consistent. I'm a very stable genius.
All right, guys. It looks like I'm just not going to have my microphones. Dumb bummer. So I was 4 days. My brother actually was with me, so he must have my microphones. Rob, if you're listening, give me my headsets back. Anyway, knowing we are walking in the direction of the maestro indicated, the next phase is to find the hidden information. And so remember the hammer. This is what the Santa had. Do you remember that? Q-A equals QAnon hammer. Hammer's 91. Q&A. You look through here, so many questions, Comey says in this little riddle. And the funny thing about it, that's what I think he was talking about. I'm not sure if it was on the original one. If I go back here to Q, not map and reset everything, you come over here, and if you're going to do another search and want to see things, you reset everything. Look at the most recent one, and we know it is this, right? So many questions. I'm not sure if that's the exact right one, but bottom line is we're talking about this Comey doing that. And here today was my honor to welcome the 2018 World Series champions Red Sox. So that's where potentially one of the 18s, but the 18 may have double meanings, right? Here's Trump A18. You'll see R equals 18. So he thinks that's pointing to Rosenstein. From the German Rosen, rose, plus Stein, stone, red stone, equals 100. And as you can see, this is a 1 minute video exactly. And so 100, right? Now, why did he insist on the $91 billion for Puerto Rico? If you notice, the value of the hammer is 91. You can pull Q2598, which is part of the gingerbread riddle, mentions hammer and shows the picture of Santa Claus holding the hammer and sign QA. Now, expand your thinking. This QA can be seen as QAnon, but you can also see it as question and answer. By doing so, you find the path to Comey's famous questions and answers that he tweeted about, and you can pull Q3227, where the Q quotes him, but also brings in Rosenstein. With Rosenstein joining the riddle, you know why Trump's Red Sox jersey was not 45, but a random 18 equals R, and the 2018 Red Sox victory plausible deniability. He solidifies this link even further with his 7:50 p.m. tweet about the Red Sox. I wanted to back up here again. A lot of people are saying 18 can be Q plus, right? So 17 is Q, and then plus is the 18, right? So I thought that was interesting, but I think it's real interesting that it also could be pointing to R, right? 18 equals R, Rosenstein. It's a video started with the team's jersey showing the word red, and its duration is 1 minute. If you notice, 100 brings the number 100, which is the value for redstone. And that Rosenstein is a Jewish, Ashkenazi name, compound from German Rosen, rose plus Stein, stone. You have a clear and solid path from the tweet video to Rosenstein. Pretty cool, right? Now, in this context, what is the hammer? Answer. According to the whistleblower Dennis Montgomery, the hammer is a secret supercomputer system set up by Obama's DNI Clapper and CIA Director Brennan that they used to conduct illegal and unconstitutional government data harvesting and wiretapping. This is key, guys. This whole hammer thing, this has been happening since probably 2012 or before, maybe way back all the way to 2008, where Obama used the hammer system through Brennan, through Clapper, to basically go blackmail everybody they wanted to control. Supreme Court justices, all kinds of judges, Republicans, Democrats from all over. Crazy how criminal the Obama administration was. It's all going to be coming out. Let's listen to General Tommy McInerney as he is interviewed on Dave Jonda. And so I'm not going to play this, guys, but I will point you to Dave Jonda. Does a great job. He's the one who's talked the most detail about the hammer. He's got some great videos out there about the hammer. I'll just show you a little bit of this.
I just got 15 minutes ago, and I just sent it to you.
Yeah, I saw it.
And I'll read it.
From General Lyons. Go ahead. I want you to.
Yeah.
I think
But he leaked a bunch of stuff about the hammer way back when Trump first got elected. And, man, the deep state were all over it, and they crossfire hurricane gets launched quickly to try to keep it from leaking any further. As you can see, Clapper and Brennan have been busy and have a better understanding of the means they use to spy on Trump and on millions of Americans. Here's an article where you will learn how Comey officially launched the Trump-Russia investigation the very next day the hammer was exposed in that interview. So this is worth coming back and listen to if you have time. Again, you'll see it in the show notes, blessed2teach.com with the number 2, blessed2teach.com, and go grab on those show notes. Get on the email list is the easiest way to get the show notes each time I have a show. If you go through the Montgomery auto tapes released by the federal Judge G. Murray show, you will learn how the Obama administration could plant files such as child pornography or state secrets on a target's computer to set them up for blackmail and framed prosecution. These are dishonest people trying to find anything they can to get what they want. Scary stuff is what they were doing. Just in case you are interested, in the low IQ explanation of the hammer for someone who is in the know, but who does not know when not to talk. Here it is. Here's Maxine Waters talking about it right here.
Made clear to our viewers and listeners is that, look, this is the inauguration represented the beginning of his second term.
Yes.
But it also represented the countdown of the end of his presidency.
That's right.
And the reality is, like anything else, you better get what you can while he's there, because, look, come 2016, that's it.
Well, you know, I don't know, and I think some people are missing something here. The president has put in place an organization that contains the kind of database that no one has ever seen before in life. That's going to be very, very powerful, and whoever...
In terms of the Organizing for America that he's now shifting to become a 501c4.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. And that database will have information about everything on every individual in ways that it's never been done before, and whoever runs for president on the Democratic ticket have to deal with that. They're going to have to go down with that database and the concerns of those people because they can't get around it. And he's been very smart. I mean, it's very powerful what he's leaving in place, and I think that's what any Democratic candidate is going to have to deal with.
There you go. And there you have it. According to Montgomery, the hammer was used to spy on Trump, millions of innocent Americans, Supreme Court Chief Justice Roberts. That would explain his mysterious flip-flop on Obamacare. Did you catch that? We pretty much know that now, that Chief Justice, and why he upheld Obamacare. If you could dig into that, it's the whole thing about a tax being an illegal tax if it wasn't a tax, etc. There's no question that that should have been struck down as unconstitutional. And instead, Chief Justice Roberts folded. Why did he fold? Well, maybe it was because the hammer had something on him. The head of the FISA court. Well. So he's also head of the FISA court. So maybe why they let all this stuff go through. Murdered Supreme Court Justice Scalia. Hello, Brennan. And business leaders. From Q 1337 and Q 1103. We already know China, whoever pays, is spying on every American on social media through a central algorithm. And for example, Facebook spies on you even if you don't have an account. Did you hear that? Facebook spies on you even if you don't have an account. Yes, if their services are free, you are the product. And if you are the product, big tech makes sure they can access their product, whatever you choose to do. That's how big tech gets its cut from illegal surveillance. How about politicians? Obama, HRC, Clapper, and Brennan figured that in addition to the Five Eye loopholes they were already having fun with, they had to set up their own illegal surveillance capabilities with the hammer in the rule America through the blackmail and frame prosecution for the next 91,000 years. That's exactly right. This hammer thing is big, guys, and it's really what they are trying to hide at all costs. It's the reason they tried to frame Trump, and they're trying to get Trump out there at all, because they never thought it would come out about the hammer, and that they blackmailed everybody. And that is going to be way bigger than Spygate, because it's not spying on just a presidential campaign, which was horrible in itself and treasonous in itself, but it was spying on anybody they wanted to blackmail. Yes, the family Y cabal. And of course, who controls these two groups? The family Y cabal. They are the politician and big tech puppet masters, creators of fake politicians and fake billionaires. Fake billionaires as in Jack Dorsey. Fake billionaires as in Mark Zuckerberg, right? Hiding in the shadows and enslaving us from the top of the food chain with their bogus money, their fake news, global speech interests. My friends, we dodged a huge bullet. If the witch had entered the White House after Hussein, it would have been the end. Q855. The depths of their treason is unimaginable. Pure evil. Hell on earth. HRC victory. Q. Now it's a good time to rewatch this. This is in Q602. He flip to this. Let's listen.
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political.
And it goes all the way to 5 minutes and 47 seconds, which we don't have a beautiful video to continue to just listen to about the treason and we the people losing all our power, right? They will, Q, 1834, they never thought she would lose. Now they all lose. Q plus, this is the president with Q plus, right? Let's continue to identify the other clues the maestro gave us during the Red Sox event. Watch until the end. We're not going to do this because it's rather long again, but we'll
Home plate. Baseball is truly America's pastime. I love it. I don't know. I guess everyone out there loves it. You wouldn't be here if you didn't, but I love it.
Skip to where he gives the 18 jersey. So I'm flipping up to where I see him. There it is.
This Red Sox jersey.
Wow.
For you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, almost always they get the 45 jersey. If you're President 45, you get 45, or you get 44 if you're Obama, or 43 if you're Bush, right? And so you see now that President 45 got an 18 jersey. Who solved the smell in the air? He said that at one point in time, which you'll have to go back and listen to this whole thing if you'd like. You caught the value for smell equals 61, which is the value for QAnon, right? The maestro was essentially saying, QAnon is in the air. You'd better pay attention. We're entering the coded comms area. Did you catch the message? He referred to the Lincoln bedroom 3 times and ended the event with one last mention. So at the very end, he talks about the Lincoln bedroom. I think I can find that real easy without spending too much time. But if you're very, very end of this, let's listen to this.
Being here, very, very special group. And I want to thank the families of the players, because without the families, it just wouldn't work. You know that. They wouldn't be up here. Would never work. Thank you all for being here. It's a tremendous honor to have you in the White House. And we're going to look at the Lincoln bedroom. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
There you go. So you see the Lincoln bedroom being mentioned there. And one last mention. Big load of Bavarian coffee for those who saw he was talking about the clown Black Ops sleeper cells. Woo! Explanation. 3 stands for C and 1 for A. C_A. The clowns. Then I told you in this post and this image that Comey used Abraham Lincoln as a code to activate his sleeper cells through his tweets. Comey is confirmed in the riddle, and his Black Ops CIA sleeper cells are pulled in. Remember this is from another decode, but President Lincoln assassinated by actor John W. Booth this talks about the Hilton Lincoln, New York City, pointing to that, right? Opened in 1928. And 28 minus 19 equals the 9, and that brings us to 9. And then he was talking about that. This is the picture that Comey had put here in his tweet. Timestamp 1829. Take 29 minus 18 equals 11. There you go. 9/11 false flag. That's Comey. Then final message from the Red Sox event. It started at 3:45. We gather in all the Q drops with the plus minus 1200 rule. We get this image. Again, 12 plus minus 1200 rules. You look at the exact time of the tweet, and then you look at, and that gives you that Q post. But since we have over 2400 Q posts, you need to go up 1200 to get to the newer Q post, right? So 2 traitors in the Trump cabinet. And you can see here, this points to the drop 3, 4, 5, talking about Anderson Cooper here. And they all belong to the same sick cult club. Imagine at top, boy, girl. So any image at top, boy, girl. Talking about this little weird image that he has here. And then Q4 1545, message not for anons. And Q 2745, traitors. Former top FBI lawyer, 2 Trump cabinet officials were ready to support the 25th Amendment effort. Message to the 2 traitors. Q is coming for you. We get this image and discover that the 2 traitors within Trump's cabinet who were ready to support Rosenstein's 25th Amendment effort belonged with A. Cooper to the same sick cult club. Makes sense, right? Solidarity or blackmail? Let's listen to the most explosive response Trump gave to the press at that event until 23 minutes. Again, we're not going to listen to these guys basically in the interest of time, but you'll have the link at blessedteach.com.
Yes, please.
Will you allow Robert Mueller to testify in Congress?
Well, I'm going to leave that up to our very great Attorney General, and he'll make a decision on that. But I will say this. Look, the Mueller report came out. It was done I guess I'm hearing numbers now close to $40 million with 17 or 18 very angry Democrats.
So I want to just give you a flavor of it there. Again, you can listen to the rest of that at blessedteach.com. You have the links to all this stuff. But it says, wow, let's start with what he said about Mueller being in love with Comey. And that if we look at the picture file, we would see hundreds of pictures of him and Comey. Do you think this is figurative? Think again. This event was scheduled at 11:45 a.m. We poll in 11:45, Q 11:45, and Q 23:45. Again, using the 1200 rule, this would be 11:45 plus 1200, right? And bingo, look what you get. Mueller being in love with Comey and the picture file. This is kind of scary, guys. But this shows, and Bob Mueller this is what he was saying in the video that we didn't listen to all of it. It says, and Bob Mueller is no friend of mine. I had conflicts with him. We had a business dispute. We had somebody that is in love with James Comey. He liked James Comey. They were very good friends, supposedly best friends. Maybe not, but supposedly best friends. You look at the picture file, and you see hundreds of pictures of him and Comey. And with a lot of that and other things, he wanted the FBI job. And you look at 11:45, intel good. Over here you see 23:45, a picture is worth 1,000 words. The decoded message, the intel about Mueller being in love with Comey is good. The picture file exists and the White Hats have it all. Is that not gross? This is literal love as in real love between the two of these sickos. Rosenstein, Omarosa, remember the affair that we looked at there that he pointed out? And now Mueller Comey. Popcorn, please. The FISA-gate soap opera has begun. Now you know why the maestro wished a happy Mother's Day at 12:11 p.m., exactly 144 minutes after the Rosenstein-Omarosa affair was revealed. And here's that image that I think we've already seen. The FISA-gate soap opera, Mother's Day. And you see the Mother's Day quote here pointing us to 144-minute delta. 12 times 12 equals 144. Coincidence? So you see that they had Mother's Day and it was 12:11. And then they deleted it and posted it back up. So I think that was the difference. And then you have the Rosenstein-Omarosa affair. And we had a whole other link there. It's designed not to really be able to see it. And then you bring in 12:11, the Q post, and it brings in Nixon and Watergate. And this whole FISA-gate here with the soap opera between Omarosa and Rosenstein. And here's the decode. Comment through its timestamp. The Maestro tweet pulls in Q 12:11, where we see the reference to soap operas. Nixon brings Watergate, which in turn brings FISA-gate. The underlined M in the tweet refers to Mueller. Can you figure out what the H on the top means? Hint, cover up. The 144-minute delta and the article about Rosenstein-Omarosa confirms the tweet image size. All the actors are identified. The FISA-gate soap opera may begin. Here are the other decoded pieces. So we're talking about the secret society decode. I'm just going to read the decode to kind of quickly go through it because it was a Vice President Mike Pence tweet, and there's a retweet by Trump, I believe, and it codes to 181 erotic pictures. And then you see it brings in 831, which misspellings matter, sentence information matters, and basically on decoding the capital letters, etc., you get sentences. Formation matters, misspellings matter. And bring in 645 Q posts, and you got "We own you and your family." The decode is this: Robert Mueller James Comey and Rod Rosenstein are secret society assets to control their members, especially those who will be given the highest position of power. Secret societies make them go through documented rituals, showing them in situations that could destroy their families and or reputations, or even incriminate them. The compromising material is the secret society's insurance policy in the unlikely event the member forgets he's the puppet and property. Strzok knows this very well, and Comey reminded this reality to McCabe in his Q645 tweet. Whether they are initially traumatized or not with the rituals, these secret society members later adapt and make the most of their dark secrets. Whatever happens when the white hats have the picture file. Enjoy the show. Woo! Wild stuff here. Here's the Angry Democrats decode. There's a lot of decoding going on here. And this is a picture of Trump here. And it brings in Q3316. At what point did Mueller determine there was no collusion? 18 months ago? Was investigation kept ongoing as a talking point to rig the midterm elections? It started with 13 and went to 18. And these were angry Democrats. M equals 13. R equals 18. Mueller and Rosenstein. Supreme Court on team? Special counsel on team? Special counsel off team? Questions reveals answers. Time will tell. And here's a decode. Mueller and Rosenstein were given a chance to do what was right, and they blew it. We saw this from the last decode. Trump and Q were watching them move on the chessboard until they could gather enough elements to conclude on whether they were on the team or off the team. It was first determined that Mueller was a black hat. He discovered that there was no collusion as early as November 2017, but they kept the investigation ongoing with Rosenstein's help to rig the midterm elections. The Maestro coded this reality with Mueller's initials, M equals 13 angry Democrats. Then, when it was clear that Rosenstein was off the team, the Maestro coded it with R equals 18 Democrats. Talking about that tweet where he started the 13 and 18. Now here's a surprise legal billing. Surprise legal billing. Here we go. We see President Trump's tweet here. It was retweeted at 2038. You can see right here. And it says, President Trump is committed to protecting patients and their families from surprise medical bills. Hospitals and insurance companies will be held accountable by the President Donald Trump. But when I say this, and if you listen to this part of this video, a key part of it in this red you'll hear. But when I say this, look at the Mueller report came out. It was done at, I guess I'm hearing numbers now close to 40 million with 17 or 18 angry Democrats who hated Donald Trump and also everything that they could possibly have at their disposal. So this, when you bring in Q 2038, you're talking about what about the budget? Why would CA elected officials knowingly collapse the budget? Think legal protection. 838Q said it talks about boom. So the decode is this. I guess I'm hearing numbers now close to 40 million. POTUS Q 2776. Why wasn't the mandate, budget, and regular updates provided to Congress upon request? That was Barr to Mueller and Rosenstein. The Mueller report was a cash cow with an ever-evolving budget and no oversight. It allowed those who were hired to make the money they would need in case they were later prosecuted. For this reason, it fits into the supreme medical billing conversation. The Maestro promises to hold accountable those responsible for this Mueller report surprise billing. Think audits. Wow, guys. Crazy stuff if you just think about this. This crazy stuff. And we're going to continue this, but we're well into it. So I want to make sure I get into the Trump 2020 coin, one of our sponsors, before we continue here. And these guys have a new program I want to talk to you about a little bit that will help you with really what we would call financial dust. So when you're cleaning things out, you get rid of stuff that's collected through the winter. And you might have had multiple jobs, and you might even have some 401ks at these different jobs, right, that have just held out there. And so if you want to actually take them and actually work with Noble Gold, you can show you how to blow those financial dust off these files, revitalize the dead money, and catapult your retirement savings into orbit. Just for May, to celebrate Memorial Day, they are offering a solid silver Trump coin 2020 and 10-ounce silver bar for anyone rolling over to IRA of a cash deal of over $20,000. So I've showed you guys in the past how you can get this Trump coin as well as this awesome silver bar that has a flag on the front and the back. It's a "We United We Stand." And buy these two things, but you can get it for free if you go get this 401k rollover for at least $20,000 or good. So again, there's a number you can call, 877-646-5347. Let me say that a little slower. And again, for Noble Gold, if you want to get in this program, I'll also show you a link that's right below this video. Again, if you would like to get into this, and it's and just make sure you mention Blessed to Teach, so you'll be able to get this the free gold 10-ounce bar as well as the free Trump 2020 coin. Again, what you're going to look for is this right here. You're going to see this free gold IRA guide, and you'll have it. You also have a phone numbers to call here. It's the 877 number that you'll have. Again, that's 877-646-5347. 877-646-5347. Go get your free, earn your free gold bar and Trump coin. All right. So that is the TrumpCoin2020.com. You can go to see these as well, and you can just buy these for a special deal using you'll see a coupon code as well below if you just want to buy these things outright as well. Let's keep on rolling here about the Mueller situation. The Mueller situation. Here we see, you look at some of these decodes and you see the judge, 47 John, and you'll see these things, your judge, witch hunt, it's a predator, fantastic, uranium one, business dispute, our first contract. So this digs into a bunch of things that Trump says in this speech that we just pointed to. Some other things he talked about was, I don't know if anyone knows that, but as you know, he was considered for the FBI job and wanted it. And the day after, he didn't get it. He became the special counsel. That's a conflict. And we had other things. Listen to this. Your judge, call him a judge, has a business dispute with me. Your judge has a fantastic relationship with James Comey. And your judge has a situation where he wanted to become the FBI director. There's nobody in this room, including you. If they were, that's you, John, if you looked up at you with $40 million, 18 angry Democrats, and hated you, and all the other things that I mentioned, they'll find something, I don't know, maybe John not. Then he brings in Q Post 3132, which says Mueller connection, Comey connection, national security. Nick Wynn, who legally represented Comey and Mueller, check the website, filled a complaint on behalf of John Doe to stop the unsealing of the Epstein case. He claimed the unsealing could name and embarrass his client. Epstein received a very advantageous plea deal in 2008 when the FBI director was Mueller. So what's the decoded message of all this? It's this. So listen up. Trump and Mueller have a business dispute. This is another day at the office for the businessman like Trump. But how can we explain it opposes him to Mueller, whose career was mainly confined to the government positions? Trump tried at the very beginning of his presidency to get this conflict with Mueller out of the way so it would not cause any interference. It was a main topic during the first contact, which did not work out well. Mueller got out of the meeting to become special counsel with the help of Comey and Rosenstein and to start his witch hunt. Why don't we know about the dispute? Because it's sealed. Sealed like other matters implicating Mueller and Comey. And that forced their lawyer, Nick Lewin, to file a complaint on behalf of John Doe, to stop the unsealing of the Epstein case. Now we know why Mueller wanted the FBI director job again, to cover up his crimes and those of Comey, among which their Uranium One fantastic relationship. Interesting, isn't that? So if you look at this, then Maestro tells us about Nadler. Again, I'm not going to listen to these in the interest of time. I'll just give you the context of it a little bit here.
2 years I've been going through this nonsense, and now we have a good report.
And we're not going to listen to that. Again, you can go to blessedtoteach.com to find the show notes. Blessed to Teach with a 2, number 2. With Mueller out, the cabal activated Nadler to continue the witch hunt. You'll find online info about Trump and Nadler New York real estate feud in the 1990s. Nothing major could happen in New York real estate without Nadler's involvement, since he entered the New York Assembly in 1974. Did you go through the link I gave you about his wife? Go look at that right here. Don't you find it fascinating? She earned her MBA from New York Stern in 1989, 1 year after the landmark $30 million gift from alumni Leonard and Stern allowed the school to expand. Here are other strange things about Nadler. It says Nadler, the perfect over-conflicted patsy. In other words, they control Nadler, so they can activate him anytime they want. Columbia University, Nadler received his BA from Columbia. Nadler's wife, Joyce Miller, received her master's degree in political science from Columbia. His son, Michael Nadler, graduated from Columbia. Joyce Miller is an adjunct professor at Columbia. But in April 2019, an employee in the admissions department looked her up and verified that Miller is still listed in the directory as an active professor. Columbia among Nadler's top contributors for 2017-2018. So they basically was a huge contributor. Here's New York Stern School of Business. Nadler married Joyce Miller in 1976. She received her MBA from New York Stern in 1989, 1 year after the landmark $30 million gift from the alumni Leonard Stern allowed the school to consolidate its graduate and undergraduate facilities at New York University Square campus. At the time, Nadler is member of the New York Assembly and has a specific interest for real estate, as his opposition to Trump's projects would later prove. Nadler, a super educated wife with a strange professional career. Joyce Miller received an MBA in finance from New York Stern and a master's degree in political science from Columbia. With his profile in New York, she could have found her way to any Fortune 500. Instead, she showed an interest in running her husband's campaigns, managing her unknown public policy consulting firm, and took government jobs, exclusively focusing on real estate. Reconcile. Here, this article says, exclusive, Jerry Nadler's son works for firm suing Trump, which presents conflict of interest. And here, report, Nadler, campaign consultant, also working on behalf of Russian propagandists. Gibson, Dunn, and Catchard LLP has been trying to get access to Trump's documents for their client in numerous lawsuits against President Trump. They represent Jim Acosta in his lawsuit challenging the Trump administration's decision to suspend his access to the White House. Michael Nadler joined the firm in 2018, the same year Democrats won the House, and when his father became chair of the House Judiciary Committee. Conclusion. Here we are, the last 3 images, and we've got the conclusion of this. Here are the pieces, all these different pieces we went over, the hammer included, the patsy, and all these different people in the 18. And here's the solution in 2 different graphics. With the help of puppets like Hussein, HRC, Brennan, Clapper, Comey, Mueller, Rosenstein, and others, the family-wide Rothschild cabal was about to change America as we know it and bury our freedom for centuries to come. That is a big statement right there, but true, I believe, guys. True. Scary stuff. In their insatiable thirst for power, Democrats have conspired with the rogue elements of the intelligence community and law enforcement to set up a sophisticated system aiming at conducting illegal surveillance on all Americans. The system, called the Hammer, was supervised by Brennan, and Clapper and whistleblowers have provided the information that it has been used against candidate Trump, Justice Scalia, Justice Roberts, the head of the FISA, and many high-profile businessmen. The hammer can target anyone and plant false information into anyone's device for blackmail and framing purposes. Fortunately, this did not prevent me from winning the 2016 presidential elections, but the bad actors who were involved in these treasonous activities conspired again, and the time to cover their crimes and overthrow a duly elected president. Wow. I'm going to reread that because I may have misread that a little bit. Involved in the treasonous activities conspired again, this time to cover their crimes and overthrow a duly elected president. When the hammer failed to frame me with technology, the trio, Mueller, Rosenstein, Comey, combined their expertise in an attempt to frame me legally. The heavy conflicted and compromised Mueller, with whom I have a business dispute and tried to get the FBI director job to be in a position to cover his crimes and those of his two friends. When he was informed he would not get it, he was appointed special counsel by Rosenstein the very next day to start his witch hunt. Mueller realized there was no collusion as early as November 2017, Q 3316. At what point did Mueller determine there was no collusion? 18 months ago? But he kept the investigation going with Rosenstein complicitly to achieve political goals. Q 3316. Was the investigation kept going as a talking point to rig the midterm elections? Then to protect the investigators. Q 3316. Was the investigation kept ongoing to retain the blockade to essentially restrict POTUS from unmasking and informing the public as to the truth about what had happened? And the traitors. Q 3316. Was the investigation kept going to protect those who knowingly committed treason and sedition? The Mueller, Rosenstein, Comey infernal trio even tried to bait me into firing Rosenstein to help Mueller build his obstruction case. I didn't, and I didn't D-class. One more to summarize this. Image 14 here. The maestro to kid message 2 of 2. Instead, I maneuvered patiently and gave the illusion to Rosenstein that he was still in control. After the 25th Amendment article, I invited him to have a conversation with me on Air Force One, knowing very well everything he would discuss would be reported to his masters. Q 2525. Did Rod Rosenstein feel safe post Air Force One 30-minute meeting with POTUS? Did Rod Rosenstein communicate meeting back to his handlers? Despite his resistance, I progressively took Rosenstein's power back without allowing him or his Democrat supporters to react. First with Whitaker, Q 2496, panic in D.C. Did Whitaker remove special counsel special articles inserted by Rod Rosenstein regarding expanded scope V2? Was the scope narrowed to the original mandate assigned? Item used when walking a dog. Q. Then with Barr. Q 2717. Effective today, Mueller reports to Barr. Rosenstein tried, but he was defeated. It took just one conversation to Barr to end the Mueller nonsense. Barr admitted the legal discrepancies and asked the right questions about the budget that Rosenstein never shared with Congress despite the repeated requests. Why? Because the special counsel was a cash cow aiming at giving money to those who know they will soon need to fund their legal protection. This explains the Mueller surprise billing. Well, make no mistake about it. Now that the reporter's out, I am in offense mode. Q 3331, May 2019, kickoff, start offense. The special counsel's finances will be audited. The stage is now set for Comey to face justice. And since Q3177, optics are very important. Rosenstein, who is now fully controlled, will be used to sing the song needed to harmonically accompany Comey's demise. The plan determined he had the best voice for this part of my musical piece. Q 3004. I can't be interrupted. Sorry. Senate vote 94-6. Concerning Mueller, you caught my business despite with him is not on the radar because it was sealed. It's one of the many sealed cases Mueller and Comey are involved in, and this is why their lawyer filed a complaint to stop the unsealing of the Epstein case. Q 3132. Nick Lewin to the Mueller connection, to Comey connection, NASA security Q. Now, if you have a special counsel report to write, have more than $40 million to play with for the best legal advice, and know you are in legal jeopardy with the sealed indictments, what would you do? Mueller inserted his report elements, the disclosures of which would cause the infection of the cause in progress targeting him, and this would enable him to invoke the procedural defects that could save him. Now you know why Nadler wants an unredacted version of the Mueller report. That's a long way to say why he wants the unredacted version. But boy, Q 2512. Mueller will face charges regarding uranium-1. He's working to save himself. Q 1223. They think they are clever. Q. Woo! That's a long one from Mr. SB2, Serial Brain 2. There's a second one that's a lot shorter. We'll go over that tomorrow night, on Monday night, during the show tomorrow night. And I want to get quickly into the Bible study. This is John chapter 5 and 6. Again, John, one of my favorite gospel, because it's the gospel of love, and he wrote it so we will really understand Jesus' heart and the heart of God. So don't go anywhere because it's beautiful, right? But do go to blessedtoteach.com, guys, just because heavy censorship's hitting this channel. Heavy censorship's hitting me in every way. And so if you want to keep in touch with me, the best way to do it is go to blessedtoteach.com with the number 2 and make sure that you just slide down here and give me your email address. That's the easiest way to where in case I get knocked off this channel. And again, right now I am going also on podcast to iTunes and iHeartRadio, as well as Spotify, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. I'd appreciate you guys just helping me get these numbers up. Even if you don't listen to them, you listen to YouTube, just simply go to iTunes and search Blessed to Teach and subscribe to the iTunes if you have an iPhone. And if you have and then iHeartRadio is the one I'm really focused on if you have an Android. Getting accounts on those two will just help red pill more people as they listen to this, right? blessedtoteach.com with a 2. You also can come up here and see when my shows are normally starting to air, right? And then you will also see here when I am contacting us. You can actually send me a message here and give me an email. This will go to my email here, and you can also subscribe here as well on Contact Us. Again, send me an email right here from my website, blessedtoteach.com with the number 2. Let's get into this John 4. We're probably just going to go to the end of John 4 because that went so late. So let's we'll just go from John 43 to John 54 for today's study, and then we'll get into John 5 next Sunday. But let's see if this is going to queue up for me like I want it to, or if it's going to start over. Good, it did it for me.
After the 2 days he left for Galilee. Now Jesus himself had pointed out that a prophet has no honor in his own country. When he arrived in Galilee, the Galileans welcomed him. They had seen all that he had done in Jerusalem at the Passover festival.
I'm going to do an audible on that since I don't have my headphones. I'm going to read it myself, guys. Jesus heals an official's son. This is a really cool story because this shows that people that aren't even, in this case, Jewish people, or in our lives, people that aren't even Christians, can have incredible faith and may and may really come to understand you. So listen to this story about Jesus healing an official's son. After the 2 days, he left for Galilee. Now, Jesus himself had pointed out that the prophet has no honor in his own country. Isn't that true? So if you become incredibly popular, or you are a prophet, they were rejecting him because they're saying that's just Jesus from Nazareth. How can he be the Messiah? How can he be a prophet, right? And so when he arrived in Galilee, the Galileans welcomed him. They had seen all that he had done in Jerusalem at the Passover festival, for they also had been there. Once more, he visited Cana in Galilee, and he had turned water into wine. And remember that was his first miracle back then. And there was a certain royal official whose son lay sick in Capernaum. When this man heard that Jesus had arrived in Galilee from Judea, he went to him and begged him to come and heal his son, who was close to death. Unless you people see signs and wonders, Jesus told him, you will never believe. The royal official said, Sir, come down before my child dies. Go, Jesus replied, your son will live. The man who took Jesus at his word and departed. While he was still on his way, his servant met him with the news that his boy was living. When he inquired as to the time when his son got better, they said to him, Yesterday at 1 p.m, the fever left him. Then the father realized that this was the exact time at which Jesus had said to him, Your son will live. So he and his whole household believed. This was the second sign Jesus performed after coming to Judea, to Galilee. Now look at this. This is really interesting. If you come back here, we'll just analyze this a little bit. Remember last time when we were talking about the woman at the well, where these people that she talked to, after she talked to Jesus, they said to the woman, we no longer believe just because of what you said. Now we have heard for ourselves, and we know that this man really is Savior of the world. They knew that he was Savior of the world. That is amazing that all these non-believers, if you will, based on the confession of a brand new believer that they trusted, they kind of believed, but it wasn't until they came and talked to Jesus that they actually really believed, right? So sometimes you just have to introduce people to Jesus. And that's when the big help happens. And here we talked about, even though he wasn't known in his own country, he did this miracle in Galilee, right? When he turned the water into wine initially. But in verse 47 says, when this man who had the sick servant, right? He heard that Jesus had arrived in Galilee. He had so much faith that he could be healed. He immediately left to go see him. He went to him and begged him to come and heal his son, who was close to death. So he's begging him, please come and heal. It was his son. This is not the servant. This is his son. So again, this is a certain royal official, probably not a believer, right? Probably not a Jewish person, probably not, so this royal official is asking this. And Jesus answered him and said, unless you people see signs and wonders, Jesus told him, you will never believe. And the royal official said, Sir, come down before my child dies. So he's not looking for a sign. And so that was kind of the test, I believe, that Jesus was just getting him. He's not looking for a sign. He just wants his son to live. And instead of going with him, what does Jesus do? He says, go. Jesus replied, your son will live. So if you don't believe this big God I've been telling you about, this omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent God, and you just can't believe the truth about what the gospel is teaching you here, because Jesus wasn't there. So he has to be an omnipresent God, right? To actually heal somebody remotely. He wasn't even there physically. The man took Jesus at his word and departed. So what's that show? Even though this guy was a non-believer, he took Jesus' word. He believed. He had faith. That's one of the biggest things when it comes to anything, is that you need to believe Jesus for what he says. Jesus says he was God by basically accepting worship and saying you forgive people. And so he was Emmanuel, God with us. That's why Father, Son, Holy Ghost, three people, one God, one giant God. Don't put him in a box. And this giant God is omnipresent. And he's also omnipotent, all-powerful, because he could heal this person miles away without even laying their hands on him, without anything, right? And so then they knew, while the servants knew he was still on his way, his servants met him with the news that the boy was living. When he inquired as to the time when his son got better, they said to him, yesterday at 1 p.m, the fever left him. Then the father realized that this was the exact time at what Jesus said to him, your son will live. That's omnipotent, all-powerful, omniscient. He knew the man was telling the truth, and he knew the man wasn't just doing it for a sign, and he knew the man had faith. And in omnipresence, he could do it remotely, because he can be anywhere at any time. What a beautiful example of what the God that we have, the true God of the universe, and the only God of the universe, is omniscient, all-knowing, omnipotent, all-powerful, and omnipresent, can be everywhere at the same time. He lives outside our restraint of time and distance. He's a great God you can trust. And you can have a relationship with this God in only one way, and that is through his son, Jesus Christ. Have you done that yet? Are you trusting this God? Are you putting God in a box maybe and not understanding how big this God is, how powerful this God is, how amazing this God is, how much this God really loves you? Don't do that. Don't put him in a box. Instead, accept the free gift of Jesus Christ and understand it's 100% Jesus as the reason you're going to be going to heaven, and 0% you. And then you're going to be so thankful as you are forgiven your sins, past, present, and future. And you are going to do what? You're going then to do good works. You're going to then do good things. That's why faith without works is dead. But initially, you're only saved through grace, as Ephesians 2:8-9 clearly states, so that no one can boast, because all is equal at the foot of the cross. Mother Teresa was no better than Jeffrey Epstein. If they're both going to hell, unless they've accepted Jesus Christ as their Savior. Now, most likely, Mother Teresa has accepted Jesus Christ as her Savior, and she's going to go. But it's not because of the great things she did. No. She was doing that because she knew that God loved her. And if Jeffrey Epstein or Hillary Clinton or any of these evil people come to their knees and bow and ask for the all-powerful, all-knowing, and ever-present God to heal them and save them, he will. And if he can do it for them, he can do it for you. God bless you guys. I really appreciate you. This is a little long. Next time we'll go over Bible study on John 5, which is an awesome chapter, by the way. Flip over to it for a second just to give you a preview. A lot of the healing of the pool, and just lots of red letters you'll see with Jesus speaking life into us. So don't miss next Sunday. And if you really want to learn more, read through it before we start next Sunday. Right, read through John chapter 5. Man, what exciting times, guys. We got Barr dropping the hammer. SB2D Code's going to get a little bit more into detail on that Monday night. Join me there around 9 p.m. Central Time. And we'll go over John 5 on next Sunday. God bless you guys, and we'll talk to you next time.